Hello and welcome to Good For You Living. This video is part of the Cooking Basics series where I'm going to demonstrate cooking in 2 easy to follow steps. Today we're making easy nachos. This is one of my favourite dishes that can be a real treat but also have healthy options. I like it for myself as a main meal just by adding different vegetables. And it's also great to share with friends at a barbecue or at a party. So I want to tell you more about this 2-step method. First, it's about oil and water. Separate your ingredients that you're going to cook in oil and those that you're going to cook in water. And second, everything's a salad. So if you ever made a salad before, you'll be able to make this dish without a problem. So I hope this is going to be good for you, and let's get into the kitchen.
Let's start off with a wok or pan on high, and here are our oil ingredients. Some onion, garlic, some mince or ground beef, cumin, chili powder and oregano. For our water ingredients we have tomatoes, tomato paste and kidney beans, and our topping will be cheese. Right, now that the pan is hot, we can add some oil. I'm using butter to fry my onions, and I've used diced onions in this case, and we just want to caramelize them lightly. Okay, the color is starting to change and we are ready for our garlic. You can mince this or just chop them up into little pieces like I have done. Minced garlic is great if you have a little crusher. The heat is high, so we are ready for our minced meat or ground beef. We need to break this all up so it's all separated. Okay, that's coming along nicely. Just making sure every little bit gets fried. Now, once that is done and all your meat is browned, we can start with our herbs and spices. Adding some ground cumin. Just enough to give the meat a bit of a coating. It's about over a tablespoon. And some chili powder. Okay, I've used about a teaspoon here. And you can see the meat getting a nice colour to it. Okay, just give it a bit of a mix. Just to even the herbs and spices out, or the spices. And now for some pepper. And now mix that through thoroughly. That's our spices. We can add our herb now, which is just some oregano. Okay, you can be generous here. Well, I am anyway. Give the meat a good coating and mix it through thoroughly. Okay, we don't need it to fry too much, so we can move straight into our water ingredients. And in go the tomatoes. I've used tinned whole tomatoes, so I'm going to have to break them up. Okay, our start of the sauce is forming. The tomatoes have broken down and I'm just going to add some more oregano. This is optional, but I love this in Mexican style foods. So it's like the extra herb is for the sauce, not just the meat. Oh yes, that is looking and smelling great. Now our sauce needs to be thickened. We can reduce this with a slow simmer and let the water evaporate. But I have a bit of a cheat. A quick method here is to use some tomato paste. I'm putting in a couple of big heaped tablespoons. And if we mix that through, you can see the sauce is coming along well. Okay, our final ingredients are kidney beans. These beans have to be pre-cooked, so whether it's tinned or you have them boiled previously, just make sure they are not raw beans and they are already soft. Alright, the final bit of seasoning will be some salt. Give it a generous little coat and a bit of a mix through. And I'm pretty happy with this. The sauce is reduced and it's not runny. That's what we want because the nachos are like a dip. So now we're going to transfer this into the oven. Now what I'm using is a pizza tray, but you can use any kind of thin baking tray, and all we do is just spoon our mixture onto the tray. Okay, flatten it out nicely so there is a thin layer of meat and sauce. I've already preheated the oven to 180 degrees centigrade or 350 Fahrenheit, and we can add a relatively thin layer of shredded cheese. You can put in more if you like, it's up to you. And once you're happy with it, we're going to throw it into the oven until the cheese is melted a light golden brown. Okay, this is straight out of the oven. Garnish with a sprinkle of shallots and surround it with corn chips. Now, some people like to put corn chips in the oven with the nacho dip. I find that it's not necessary, as the corn chips should already be crunchy. And if it goes under the sauce, the chips get soggy. But in terms of presentation, that looks good. And also you can serve with a bowl of chips on the side as well.
There you have it, easy nachos. As you can see, the ingredients are relatively healthy. If you want to go full vegetarian, then instead of the meat, use refried beans. If you don't have refried beans, you can make your own out of kidney beans. I like having whole beans into the dip. It just makes it more like a meal. And I also like to have diced carrots and diced potatoes and other vegetables into the dip, and that makes it more like a meal. Just gives it that little bit of heartiness, you know. You'll find that this recipe is very similar to a taco mix and other tomato-based sauces. You just follow the same two-step principles. First, it's about oil and water, and second, everything's a salad. So start experimenting and start creating your own signature dish. Visit goodforyouLiving.com, like my videos, leave a comment, send me a recipe challenge, or just drop me a line. And remember that living, it's good for you.